Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by the $1 Million Teacher Project, where we support students by supporting teachers. To find out more, visit www.milliondollarteacherproject.org.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I'm your host, Kathy Blaze. Today, one of our special guests is a local actor in Arizona, Mr. Brett Lingenfelter. Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Brett, how have you been doing in this Arizona heat?
Oh, just getting through like everybody else.
Yes. So you're an actor here in Arizona. How long have you been in the acting industry?
I started probably around 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what got you in the acting?
Actually, back in high school, I did a play for our senior class called "It Was a Dark and Stormy Night," and ever since then, I just absolutely loved it. But at that time, 17, 18 years old, I just didn't have the confidence to really do anything with it. So I continued on with the career I'd already planned in law enforcement.
Okay.
So that just kind of fell off to the wayside till about, like I said, about 2015. One of my coworkers at the Phoenix Police Department, Andy McDermott, he was, I started seeing him having a lot of success and getting little bit parts of different shows and stuff. And I started thinking about, I was like, man, that would be a lot of fun for like a second career or something. And I finally said, the heck with it. I'm going to start taking some acting lessons. And I started doing that. Jumped on Facebook, started making friends there and making connections. And that's pretty much how I've found most of my roles so far.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We've had a couple other police officers or retired police officers. I'm sure you know Sean Berube.
Yes, yeah, friends with Sean. And in fact, I just watched one of your interviews with Keith Lopez last night.
Yes. That was my first time meeting Keith, and we had been Facebook. Felt like I knew him already because we've been Facebook friends for so long, and it was such a pleasure to finally meet him in person. And it's so amazing to see these people that are in these fields that are so stressful, and to see them as actors and see a different side of them.
Yeah,
I mean, like nurses, doctors. I know some of those people in some of those different fields, and just to see that they're just down to earth people like us, and they're able to share with the world what we love doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason for that is, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody else, obviously, but day to day we're doing these all kinds of things that are really intense, really stressful, real life and death kind of things. And then to be able to come in and do something else that'll still have an impact on somebody's life. It helps people just have their time to sit down, relax, watch something, take their mind off of life. And now we're just getting to help people in a different way. Yeah.
Are you still an officer?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yes, that's awesome. So you started off, it seems like I think everyone started off in a stage play.
Yeah.
I thought about, when did I start loving acting? It's usually as a child, and life happens and it falls off, and as an adult, we're just ready to go. But it never leaves us.
No.
It's always there. And that is where mine started, was during stage. I thought back, me and my brothers used to do these little stage presentations, just the three of us.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, my brothers were a pain in the butt. So you started back acting, so you've been acting for about 6 years now.
Yes.
Tell us about your first, I'm going to say your first memorable role.
Well, the very first one I ever did, actually, Andy McDermott again, he came to town and he did a short film. It was a fan film based off of the Mitch Rapp book series, and it was called Mitch Rapp Off Book. And I talked to him, tried to get a part in that, but everything was already full up by the time I had heard about it. So he brought me in, let me do security on set. So I got to make a few connections that way, talking to different people, producers, directors, actors involved, and made a whole bunch of friends that day.
Wonderful.
It was awesome.
And sometimes that's the start.
Yes, in fact.
You may not be a part, acting in it, but making a connection on set somehow.
Yes. And that's actually what happened was a couple months later, they were looking for somebody to do ADR, just some voiceover for the helicopter pilot that was flying in for one of the scenes. And they asked me if I wanted to do that. So we did, and it grew from just a little bit of voiceover to like a couple seconds of screen time, but they green screened me into the cockpit of a Black Hawk helicopter, flying in to pick up the hero and fly off. So
wonderful.
That was the very first one, and while
that was exciting.
Oh, it was. I just seeing how a lot of these things are done was really neat. And then that led one of the people operating cameras and helping out with that scene. Had read some of my background, my military history. He says, "Hey, I've got a military short film that we're doing. Would you like to help out with that?" That was kind of my jumping off point.
Wonderful. That's the thing with going on and living your life. Those things that you've accomplished along the way helps you in your acting career. You're able to use being in the military and being an officer, family, being a father or a brother. Sometimes those things help you in your acting.
Oh, absolutely. You always got to draw from your life experiences.
Yes.
And that's one of the great things about being a police officer, and just observing everybody in all walks of life, being able to pick up on different things and habits of certain types of people and characters, and being able to use that.
Right. So, were you in one of Georgia Bart's films?
Yes.
Which one was that?
I believe that was.
Was that Prankster?
No. Goodness, now I'm drawing a blank on that.
The Muse? No.
No.
He's not been in any of my films.
Oh.
It was George's film.
Oh, okay. No, not George.
That was
Okay.
The Dark Side of Opulent 3.
That's it.
Oh.
I wrote that for somebody else, but that wasn't mine. So.
Oh,
Can we
okay.
just go ahead and let's skip that question?
Yes. So you've done a few films. Where do you see yourself in 5 years as an actor?
I'm hoping to soon get representation. Need to start taking more acting classes, get a different variety of training. I've been doing until my accident. I was doing stunt training as well.
Okay.
So I was getting into that field.
Okay.
But
and I see a lot of the male actors doing a lot of that stunt training.
Yeah.
Is that a big thing right now, or is
I think it is. I think a lot of actors are trying to step up and be able to do some of their own stunts, not necessarily the heavy duty stuff like Tom Cruise or any of that kind of stuff, but just being able to handle little things like fight scenes and make it look authentic and things like that. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned you were in an accident. Are you completely healed from that?
Yes, I've just been released back to full duty status.
Okay.
No restrictions on anything, so I'm
Thank
doing
God.
good.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome. So, you see yourself, is representation very important for you at this point?
I think so. I think the main reason is it gives you a little bit more access to
some of the bigger projects.
Bigger projects. I'd like to move on to other areas as well. Maybe travel to different locations and things like that for films, and that's the main reason.
So, what do you consider your style of acting?
Oh, I never.
Or if you feel
never really thought about a certain style. I just, I kind of read through it, try and get a feel for who this character is, find my connections to him. How do I think this person would react, and just how they would handle things.
Do you feel that at this point you get selected for a certain type of character?
Yeah, with my background in law enforcement and the military, pretty much most of what I've done so far has been either military or law enforcement, which is fine.
Good since you're just
absolutely.
starting off. Yes.
And it's funny, there's an actor, Glenn Morshower. I heard him on Clubhouse one day, and he made this comment that really stuck with me. He said, a lot of people complain about playing the same characters again and again and again. He's been doing military and police for years, and he finally said that basically it's better to be typecast than not cast. So.
Hey, so we were talking about your acting and being a police officer, being a retired veteran, which we thank you for your service. But you're still a young man. You got a lot of life ahead of you.
Yes, ma'am.
I know your look has changed a little bit. Is that because of what's you're planning for the future? Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. I am. I'm trying to branch out away from law enforcement and military roles. I'm still willing to do them, but I've got a Western coming up. Not really a whole lot I can say about that just yet, but I've got a Western coming up and trying to go for a little bit more of a Wild West.
You're just trying to be my Gerard Butler, that's why.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. We're here in Arizona, and we love Westerns here. So that's a great thing.
I've been able to get into 2 of them so far, just small pieces in them, but had a lot of fun doing them, and would actually like to do a lot more.
Yeah, I noticed on social media a few months ago there was a couple that was supposed to be a couple of big projects, Western projects that was supposed to happen here, but I think one of them they're going to now be doing it in New Mexico, and I don't know what happened. You know how things just fall apart for whatever the reasons may be. But you know what? I'm hoping with this new tax thing that we'll start to see more big projects come here in Arizona.
Yeah, I think we will. I think we're going to see a little bit of a boom start to happen now that this is in place.
That'll be awesome. And you know what? We have to be prepared as actors and performers. So some of the things that you're doing, doing your stunt work, changing your look. And you know what? That is something that people don't realize, that they think, oh, he's just acting. It's just that thing he's doing. They don't realize all the investment that you're putting in to become who you want to be for this acting.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, a lot. You have to do a lot of training. There's no doubt about that. I've been training off and on for a few years, getting a little bit here and there, and even with that, I know I need a whole lot more, and I'm willing to explore that and look into different avenues for it.
Right.
And
especially if you know the place where you want to be. I mean, if you want to do roles where you may have stunts that you have to do, or you want to have a certain look for a certain genre of work, you know the things you have to do, because you can't be doing those stunts if you can't even lift your leg up.
Right. Yep.
So those are the things you have to invest in.
Yep. Staying in shape, staying fit, being able to take blows like when you do a fall, knowing how to fall and things like that. You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah. So we talked about some of the films that you've done, but you just had a huge accomplishment where you were the lead in a film.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, we had a short film called Augment. It's kind of a sci-fi type of movie. I played the lead character, Bishop Ryder. In this movie, my son is ill, and as a school teacher, I'm not able to pay the medical bills that he needs for certain surgery that will keep him alive. And I make these connections through a support group that I go to. I make a connection that leads me to an experimental, we'll say, process that if I'm able to complete it, then my son's medical bills are taken care of.
Wow.
And things go downhill quickly from there.
Wow. So how was it for you, was this your first lead?
Yes, my first lead
How
role.
did that feel?
That was pretty exciting, just that idea alone.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was great. We did some of the filming here in Phoenix. We did a little bit out at the sand dunes at Glamis, and we spent a day out at a couple of studios in Los Angeles as well.
Wow.
And I had a blast. It was a great crew to work with.
Wow.
The other actors were great people.
So there was a lot in it. I mean, being a lead, you're in. I mean, I don't know how big the script was, but let's say if it's a 40-page script or even bigger, you're in all that.
Yes.
As the lead, and that's all that memorization. I mean, emotions and everything that you have to go through. You have to become that character and know that person. And that was what I was speaking about. It's not just, he's just acting.
Right.
Because this is who you're becoming for however long you're working on this project.
Yeah.
How long did you work on this project?
Well, we only did like 3 or 4 days of shooting.
Oh, okay.
But each of the scenes was something totally different. Like the group scene that we did at the beginning I was stressed and angry because of the way things are going with my son, and just that total feeling of helplessness, not seeing any way out of it. You know, that's one of those things that can actually take a toll on you, because you put yourself, a lot of people put themselves into a different place where
could you relate with
really
that character in any way?
There's some things I've experienced, and even watching other people experience it at work.
Right.
I was able to pick up on things like, and use things that I've seen that way too, as well as my own experiences. Then the scenes we did out in California were a little bit more, I don't want to say more intense, but they were nerve-wracking, because the character is going into something he's not familiar with, and when he starts to realize what's going on, he realizes that it's also a little on the illegal side, and he's like, shit, do I really want to get involved with this? But then he realizes, you know what, it's either this or my son dies.
Wow.
And as a father, you'll go to extremes to help your kids.
So is there plans to make this into a feature, or was the plan for a short?
I think the plan was just for a short.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So what are your plans next?
Well,
any new projects coming up?
Well, just the Western right now. That's all. I kind of, after my accident, I kind of took a break from things. We actually finished wrapping on Augment about 2 weeks before I had my motorcycle accident. But since then, I've kind of taken a break from things. I've been just focusing on recovering, and now that everything's better, I'm ready to get back into the game. Like I said, just gonna start getting more training, hopefully get back into my stunt training, and like within the next probably 5 years or so, retire from the police department and jump into acting full time.
Awesome. So are you one of those actors that your goal is to leave Arizona to go out somewhere else?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on like what happens with the new tax incentives and everything. If more and more things start coming here,
and representation.
Yeah. Those kind of things, could be something that would keep me here. Then again,
who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yes, we can have these plans for 5 years, but who knows? Especially, this is called the acting world. Things change every day.
Every second.
Where can our audience find you, Brett?
I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram.
Okay. Under Brett Lingenfelter?
Yes,
okay.
Both of them are under Brett Lingenfelter.
Awesome. It was such a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much.
And we look forward to what's next with Brett Lingenfelter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here today on Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.